careful. You might learn something.
Let's go.
You are now tuned in to the Factual Opinions Podcast with your host. I am Pharaoh. Straight facts.
Welcome back, World Factual Opinions Podcast. This is season 5, episode 3. We're calling it Coached Up because I got a special guest in the house. Gentleman that I've been trying to get on the show for quite a while now. I've been blessed to get to know him personally over the past couple years, see his progression as a coach. He is the head varsity football coach at my alma mater, Shroder, Paideia High School. He's a Navy man, served in the armed forces. We got the good Darren Sellers here today. What's up, Coach?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Good. Happy to have you on as always.
I appreciate it.
Usually, as you know, I'm flanked with my guys, Big John and Nate. Don't know if they're going to be on today, but the show must go on. So we're going to talk to Darren about his progression as head coach at Shroder. Just finished last year tying the second best record in school history, 7-3, which was also posted by my senior year in 2004. Only difference is we got that banner hanging in there, but I know Darren gonna take care of that for me one day too. Hey, I want you to get that banner in there. I'm rooting for you. You know that. I'm there every game.
That is true.
So, but first, before we get into any sports related talk, I want to dedicate this episode to my Aunt Sue, one of the greatest individuals that I've met, in my lifetime. She's a praying woman. Never had anything bad to say about anybody, and that's rare in these days. Didn't find out till 5 o'clock today that she had passed on. So my condolences go to my dad's big brother, Uncle Rob. Hold your family down. All my cousins, April, Jessica, Nicole, Pat, my cousin Bobby, everybody. It's too many people to name, but yeah, I know I'm here if you need me. So condolences go out to everybody. So, Brother Darren, before we get into the Schroeder recap and everything, there's a few other things to talk about. We just witnessed what, in my opinion, is the most shocking NBA trade in NBA history, with Luka and Anthony Davis being exchanged. Now, if you don't know, I am a diehard Lakers fan.
Why?
So,
why?
Oh man, we ain't got time to get into that. Why really is because I got 2 jerseys when I was a little kid. I'm talking about 6 years old. My mom bought me a Vlade Divac jersey and a John Starks jersey. So ever since then, I've been a Knicks and Lakers fan.
Okay, that's granted. Seeing that you're from Cincinnati, you guys don't have a basketball team, so I get
Exactly. And like I like to tell people, because the assumption is if you're a Lakers fan, you're bandwagon. Well, see, I became a fan during the one decade besides the 60s that they did not win a championship. So
I got you.
Yeah.
I'll let you get away with that one. All right, you get it. You're good.
So when that went down, I got a lot of texts and calls from people, asking me what I thought. Did I think it was a good move? Honestly, I'm going to say no. I was not a fan of the move.
I want to hear why not.
I felt like giving up AD, who I know everybody's going to say he's built and made of plastic, but when AD is on the floor, there's very few people that can match up to his skill. He can get 30 and 15 any night that he wants to, emphasis on want to. And I felt like when you give that up, you also gave up a rim protector as well. Luka and LeBron both, in my opinion, need the ball in their hands to be effective.
That's true.
So I just want to see how this works out. I mean, it sells tickets. You're going to score points. But does it really even move the needle, honestly?
I think there's more to come, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't think they're done. I think Rob Pelinka has something else up his sleeve that no one knows about. And it'll all display itself here real soon.
My man Rob Pelinka. Well, they did make another trade. They got rid of their first round pick this year and Dalton Connect and brought in the big man Mark Williams from Charlotte.
Charlotte, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I
They
see
trying to
that.
make a move now. They trying to make a move now. They
But
know LeBron's got about a year or two left. They trying to make a move now.
maybe
Mm.
he's still great for
Yeah. Well,
his
yeah.
his his age, but I mean, Father Time is undefeated. You can see some chinks in the armor. So, like you said, if they're going to make a move with LeBron as part of the fold, it needs to be now. But I also thought that move to me kind of spoke to maybe they are looking forward to the future. Because Luka is what 26 years old, 25 years old. So
25, I think.
yeah.
But I mean, that's fine. Send LeBron back to Cleveland. So let him help us get another one.
I always thought that LeBron might find his way back and retire as a Cavalier. I really did.
Yeah, I think that's gonna happen. I think it's gonna happen, really.
And there's some young guns on that Cleveland team that I wouldn't mind, if they want to part ways with a few. But honestly, I thought this trade said more about Dallas and what they thought about Luka than anything really revolving around the Lakers. I mean, things must have been really sour in that building for them to just decide to pull the plug on guy that just got you to the finals last year at age
I,
25.
I think they wanted to do a whole lot more with him, and they thought that his physical makeup, him not being in the shape that they would like him to be in, um, was part of that problem they had with him.
Yeah,
He's a ball player now. He's
yeah.
he a dog. I ain't gonna even lie to you, but it's different when you're getting paid millions of dollars and they want you to be a certain way, and you're
Well,
just not displaying that.
yeah, I saw a video that speaks volumes now, where after they won the Western Conference Finals last year, I think he's the VP of basketball operations, former Mavs player Finley.
Michael Finley.
Michael Finley walked up and took a beer out of Luca's hands. And they put even in the caption like, yeah, this speaks volumes now, a little bit insight into,
hmm
maybe what was going on
hmm
behind the scenes. And I'm like, wow, man, it must have really been bad though and
That
worried
year
about it.
playing over here is a whole lot different than playing over in Europe. It's a whole lot different. And they expect a whole lot more out of you over here, I think, because of the money the the luxury tax and everything that they got going on with these basketball players and their contracts, man. So they're they sticklers about a lot of stuff, man. They are, and
There's a lot at stake, and you know me, I'm old school. I laugh because I hear the stories about Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Ron Harper cracking beers at
hmm
halftime
hmm
during
hmm
games. Now those are we mentioned some guys that won a lot of games and championships, so maybe they had a little bit of leeway. And like you said, it was a different time in
hmm
general,
hmm
back then. But I'm just like, man, I just can't believe it would be that bad that you would part ways with Luca. But looking at it from the Lakers standpoint, we do have a superstar when LeBron does decide to lay it down. I mean, providing Luca resigns, that we can certainly build around.
right, right.
Because it's tough with AD. Like everybody wanted him to take that step, and I think even LeBron to be the main focal guy, of the
hmm
team. And I felt like
hmm
he was doing that to a certain extent this year. But again, when you have so many injuries, like he just had, a week or so ago, it's like, can we really put our faith in this guy to lead the franchise?
I just didn't think AD has that type of personality. He's not that kind of killer to me.
Yeah,
Be honest with you, and that's just my opinion of him. I think he's a very good basketball player. I think he's a generational talent. I just don't think
yeah.
he's a killer that they want him to be. They want to put everything on him, but I don't think that's in his makeup. I don't.
I think that is, plausible explanation because, like I said at the beginning, if he wants to go out and get 30 and 15 every night, I mean,
He
essentially
can.
he can.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing. Like you watch AD some games and you like, man, what is going on? Because especially at that forward position which he wants to play, there's really not anybody that I would even put in his realm, right
Right.
now. You got some
Right.
centers like Joker and Embiid when he's healthy and other people. But as far as that four spot, like he's the guy when he wants to be,
Right.
you
He
know,
is.
and maybe they got tired of that and waiting, on that, so to speak. So
He's not getting any younger. I'll tell you that. So
no, he's not either. I'm
he's
just
got some
tagging
mileage on him. He does have some mileage on him.
I'm just tagging some of our regulars right now because usually that's Nate's job and I can keep the program going.
Big Nate.
Yeah, but he was booked and had a few things going. So um yeah, well that shook up the league, and then we had Jimmy Butler, the problem child, also finally get dealt to the Golden State Warriors. Now,
I don't think that's gonna work too well. I'm
I don't
just.
think so either. I mean, I
Mm,
know things were getting tough out there in the Bay, but I liked Andrew Wiggins and the setup that they had. I know, Steph and my man, I'm having a brain fart right now.
who
Um,
Draymond?
yeah, Draymond are getting a little long in the tooth,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't really for breaking that up. You already let, Clay go during, the off season and
Right.
everything. I think
Right.
Steve Kerr was a good enough coach to figure it out, but obviously their front office felt differently. My only worry is you bring Jimmy Butler in, and I know a lot of people question, is he really worth it? Nobody's doubting the talent of Jimmy Butler, but I've always said with him, I felt like there's a ceiling also. I feel like he's an all-star, not a
Right.
superstar. And
Right.
then when you add in the headache that seems to happen everywhere he goes, this is how the situation is.
He's a diva, man. He's a
Did you
diva.
want to take that risk?
Well, they took that risk. Now we're gonna see how it play out. I seen him. I seen not too long ago. I was looking at ESPN, and he was walking in to I guess the arena over there, and he didn't look like he was too happy. He was just kneeling on like he was already upset. So I don't think it's gonna turn out too good. I'm being honest, man. We will see here very soon too, but I just don't think he's too happy about being in Golden State. I think he wanted to go where he wanted to go.
See, and that's the thing. A lot of teams weren't willing at this point because of, his track record and history. And
Mm,
like I said, how far does that needle move? He's a guy that, especially when you get to the playoffs, he might give you to use a football, metaphor analogy, he might give you that Eli Manning, I'm gonna get hot during a particular series or whatever, play
mhm.
a little bit over, the talent level that I usually have. But
Right.
I still remember last year him trying to fight um, head coach Eric Spoelstra there on the court,
He did.
and seeing him mouth, speaking of Spoelstra back, like, you want to fight me, like, what the,
Yeah.
and of course Udonis Haslam was like, oh, you want to fight, I'll fight you,
Hey, you
and he got quiet after that.
you did the truth. Don't nobody mess with UD, man. He was like
Yeah,
Charles
he,
Barkley
he
back in the day, man, and Oakley back in the day, man. Nobody wanted to mess with them guys, man.
yeah, he got real quiet after that. He didn't want that smoke for sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the trade deadline, I know Anthony Edwards in Minnesota was joking. Well, he may even been serious. He's like, man, am I safe at this point? If
Ah,
you got Luka and AD getting traded,
they won't do that. Ant Man will be where Ant Man is. They're not gonna do that. He's too much of a commodity for him. They're not gonna do that. That'll be crazy. Now that would be wild.
not at this point in his career. I don't think he's
Nah,
got to worry about that.
nah,
But
nah, nah.
nobody's untouchable, I guess, except King James with his no trade clause at this point.
What kills me is these guys that get these no trade clauses. That's a lot. That's a lot of leverage that they garner by doing that. A whole lot of leverage,
Yeah.
and these clubs allow them to do that. That just gives them so much power.
Well, King James, between him and his agent Rich Paul, we're not talking about the normal power situation or power,
Mm-hmm.
structure.
Mm-hmm.
He don't quite run things as much as he did in Cleveland, because I could argue he had as much power as Dan Gilbert in Cleveland.
I mean, I would say he had more, to be honest with you. Remember, I'm from Cleveland, so
Yeah,
I had a first hand at seeing all of it and everything. So yeah, but he's going back. Just give it a little time. He's gonna go back.
say he's going back, huh?
Yeah, he's gonna go back. He's gonna go back. He's gonna retire there. I can see it. He's gonna retire there.
I think that would be storybook ending
Yeah.
for Brian Bond.
Hmm.
I'm hoping one day that he actually owns the Cleveland Cavaliers and purchases them off of Dan Gilbert. That would be the ultimate ending to this
That's a
LeBron James story for
that's a
me.
lot. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
It ain't like he ain't got it.
I mean,
He might have to have a minority owner or two, like most people.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
He probably wants to have minority on it anyway. Anyway, just to
yeah.
spread it out a little bit anyway. But yeah, I mean that's a good possibility. I never thought that far about it. I never thought of it. And it's sad that we don't think of minority athlete like that being an owner like we
Yeah.
should. You know what I mean? I think that's something that should happen a whole lot more than it is. It's starting to happen slowly but surely now, but I think in the future, man, I think that's one of the big things that should go down.
Well, he's made no bones about it that he does want to be an owner at some point. I'm just throwing that Cleveland speculation out there because it's home, and it would make sense, and a lot of people will
Hmm.
probably want to see it. But
Hmm.
that's a whole nother network in itself. Two of them, billionaires and good old boys club and stuff. And I I hope it works out because LeBron has been outspoken about a lot of things, especially on the social, justice, side. And they've made jokes about that, in the past, even Kenny the Jet Smith and some of them like, hey, that's the real thing. Cause those are the people that, have to vote and approve your ownership. It's one thing to have the money and the team, around you to do it. They still have to say yes, all those other owners, same thing in the NFL, as well, obviously, which we know how that situation works
that
out.
that will be whew, the NFL is a whole nother animal altogether, man. It's whew,
Yeah,
mm, mm.
because people were talking about possibly the great Sean Carter wanting to get into ownership, and maybe that's why he's tried to, finesse his way into Roger Goodell's ear with, even little stuff like the halftime show and initiatives that they have. And it's
Sean
like, yeah,
Sean Sean Carter has some other things he got to deal with before even thinking about being any kind of owner right now, man. Don't get quiet now.
I'm gonna take a sip and yeah, I'm gonna just walk away like Shaq did when Chuck set him up with that. Said probably not a good time right now.
Nah, not a
Uh,
good time. Not a good time. Not at all.
yeah, him and the other Sean, yeah, they are dealing with quite a
Yeah.
few things
Yeah.
right now. Got my
Yeah.
man Brandon Huntley in the house. He say OH.
I
So transitioning away from basketball, I do want to talk about the job that you've done at Schroeder and what's going on
Mhm.
over there currently. Light years away from what it was when you inherited the program.
Yeah, I know.
So
You seen that firsthand. You played as my first season. I remember what it was.
yeah, I just to give people a little background. So yeah, I was coaching over at Purcell, Marion, the only other high school I ever wanted to um, attend. And I remember leading up to that week, Dowdy was asking me, Chappelle, and Josh Ellison, because of course we all played together at
Mhm.
Schroeder. Hey, do you feel anything about playing your alma mater? And I'm gonna be honest, at the time, because you know how I'm like Pac. I'm all in or all out. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
nah, man, I don't feel nothing. You know, it's business as usual, man. We gotta do what
Mm-hmm.
we gotta do.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna lie, my heartstrings were being tugged because I'm like, and I got Coach Wirtz, you know, working the chains, you know, on our side, and he said, Bradley, this ain't what we did when we were at Schroeder, is it? And I said, no, Coach, but I said it's definitely a different situation, man. And I just remember looking up at the scoreboard after the first quarter, man, and honestly, yeah, I did get a little embarrassed and hurt. I'm like, damn, man,
Mm-hmm.
this is rough.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, I reached out because there, whatever capacity, I wanted to, you know, help and shout out to Brother Newberry, the, you know, AD. We talked about, I guess it was misconstrued at first what I meant or was trying to get across, and luckily he did something that hadn't been done for a long time at Schroeder, and you know the dynamic from working there and being a coach
Right.
there. He
Right.
was able to open the doors up for us alumni to get involved.
Right.
And luckily, you were receptive also, particularly with, you know, the team meals that, you know, we like to do at the beginning of the year for the kids
Right.
now. So I've seen it. But yeah, that first year was rough. So can you kind of talk about what you inherited at Schroeder and how you've worked it to where you got it now?
Well, my very first year, I came in late. We're usually, conditioning and, end of December, beginning of January, we're starting to get some conditioning in and everything and getting the kids out so they can, start getting acclimated to everything. I didn't get the job until uh, March, maybe April. So I was already behind the eight ball.
Yeah.
Um, and as soon as I got in, I still had to assemble somewhat of a staff, and that's when I reached out and I got my D coordinator first, which is Jay Hines, and then we went from there. And then we had to assess what we had. Now, before we could really assess, a couple of kids we had left. They went to other schools because they didn't want to be part of that culture anymore, or they were being pulled away by other programs.
Yeah.
Uh, and those two student athletes were pretty good. They would have helped us a whole lot, and they decided to go elsewhere. So um, after that, just trying to get the young men to understand that this is football. This is not flag football. This is actual tackle varsity football. Um, and we inherited a lot of kids that had never played before at all, not at any level. I'm
Mm.
talking not even little league, or they played 1 or 2 years at little league when they were 8 and 9 years old. So we got a lot of kids that we had to get the football IQ and the physicality of football in them. We had to come up with a plan that made them somewhat relevant, somewhat able to get out on the field and be able to perform in a way where they were at least competitive. The buzzsaw we ran into with you guys in those first 5 or 6 games, it was just we were outmanned and outmaneuvered by teams that were ready. They had established programs, very good athletes, very good scheme and plan what they were going to do to us, and it showed early on. It showed that we were down, in the first quarter. We're down 20 or 30, and I knew as well as my coaches knew. I said, look, we can quit right now and walk off this field, or we gonna fight through this. We're gonna continue to play. And if anybody knows me, they know I'm not going to quit. I don't care what the odds say. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep fighting, regardless of the
Yeah.
fact. So that's what we did. We fought through. We played all 10 games that year, and We went 1-9. We did win one game down the stretch in the end, and we started to set the template of what we wanted to do the next year. We got a head start on what we wanted to do, the plan we had, for the kids, and we ended up getting a few players to come in, and but most of the players that we had were already there. They were younger guys, they were small, but we got them and we coached them up. Uh,
Yeah,
so second year we went 3-6. We put 3 wins up, but we still weren't a finished product. And then come last year, we had a few kids come in that helped us on both ends, and we had kids that already been there and they know what the culture is and what we expect out of them, and they played a whole lot better. And 7-4, get a berth in the playoffs. We go against the number 2 seed in the whole region, which was tough, but I think we learned something from it. We learned that we got to play, regardless of who we play. We got to play, whether we play at their place or our place. We still got to play, and
yeah.
you have a fighter's chance. Getting in that game plan, whether you're going against the number 1 seed or number 2 seed or number 15 or 16 seed. It doesn't matter. You still got to play the game. So we learned a lot.
Well, I just want to tell you, and I'm sure I've told you before, but even being a fan, a supporter, alumni, man, I had a ball last year supporting y'all and
Mhm.
being there on the sideline, with you guys each week, made me feel part of the squad too. I look forward to, every game. It's not many situations of people that I would miss Ohio State Buckeye games for. Just throw
True,
that out there.
true,
So
true.
I watched quite a few on repeat because I wanted to make sure that I was there for y'all and the kids. So
Mhm.
it was very exciting to be on that ride with y'all. And of course, you had two player of the year award
Right,
winners, for both sides of the ball. And
right,
brother Jayden, with his 14 and a half sacks
right.
on defense. And of course, we know you got the returning. He'll be a 4-year starter this year,
Mm-hmm.
and BMAC, as I call him, Brian
Mm-hmm.
McGrady.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Losing, Jaden, but you cannot underestimate the positive impact that having a 4-year starter at quarterback, obviously is going to have if somebody as exciting as he is.
Right.
But you also have somebody like Christian Hopkins, safety, wide receiver, coming back was all league, performer. So I just
Mm-hmm.
want to throw that out there to people that kids that might be at other programs, student athletes right now, looking to get on the field. You're looking to come to a program that's on the rise right now. Got the drip with the uniforms, the beautiful campus and building. There are other schools outside of the one downtown and the one on Madison Road. I won't name them because I don't
Yeah.
want to sound like a hater, but
Don't do it. Don't do it.
where
Don't
you
do
can
it.
come and play some good football right
Yeah.
now and get a
Yeah.
good education. There are good teachers, in that building, as
Right.
well for parents that, and the students themselves that care about that. So I just want to throw that out there. I know Brother Darren got to be careful. I'll be
Oh
the
yeah.
plug.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Oh
you
yeah.
want to come play some good football and go to a good school, especially within the Cincinnati Public District. It's open enrollment now anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Come to Duck Creek.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a squad over there.
Yeah. We
So
got a pretty decent schedule coming up this year too. It's gonna be tougher. It's gonna be what we need. We got a couple of away games that we have to go to kind of hostile territory to try and get a big win out of a couple of teams. So I mean, it's not going to be easy by any stretch of imagination, but it's doable. It's definitely doable.
now I haven't seen it, and usually I'm bugging Newberry about that, and I'm up to
Hmm.
par with what's going on. But I know you as a head coach, you're gonna give me the head coach answer to say, "Oh, I'm focused on every game." But
Hmm.
you alluded to it. are there any particular games this year that fans of Jaguar Nation should be looking forward to that since you know what the schedule is already?
Um, like you said, I'm a head coach. I'm going to say every last one
Yeah.
of them. But just offhand, in very important games, all of them are important. But the week 4 game against New Richmond is going to be very important. The week 5 game against Washington Courthouse up at Washington Courthouse is going to be something.
Ooh,
And that CCPA game, of course, with our rival is going to be really something too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking off air about that, and Coach Cargile, who is supposed to be still wanting to come on the program at some point if we can get that worked out. But like I said, glad that I got Brother Darren on here first.
Mm-hmm.
That was a tough one to swallow. Like I said, we knew it was going to be a four-quarter game. Both teams knew it was going to decide, who won the league,
Right.
and just so happened, it was a pick six that decided it from my man B Mac. I know he thought Joe was gonna step in front of that on that quick slant and
Mhm.
get it, and
Yeah.
it went the other way. So it was pretty heartbroken. But like I said, I was proud of the guys because I mean it actually was a good game. It was nip and tuck. It wasn't a high scoring game. It was
Mhm.
one of those that I said was going to come down to whoever makes the first mistake.
Mhm.
Probably will lose the game, and unfortunately, that happened to be us. But again, it wasn't for lack of effort or anything like that. So,
We made about
um,
4 or 5 mistakes, 4 or 5 crucial mistakes that we needed not to make in that game.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm definitely not going to highlight any particular play or
Yeah.
kid, but yeah, there were a few in that game
Yeah.
because it was still a winnable game,
Yeah.
and still driving at the end of the game with what about a minute left,
Yeah.
trying to tie it up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
from
You
an
know exactly what
excitement,
play I'm talking about.
yeah, yeah, I know. From an excitement standpoint, though, it definitely kept fans and observers, on their feet, and even you being, in the middle of it,
Hmm.
obviously it just didn't turn out the way we wanted it
Right.
to go. But it was a good game, and I expect probably another good game with them this year. So, can you talk about off-season program wise what you have going on right now at the school?
Right now we're going 3 days a week. We're getting some conditioning in 3 days a week now. We'll expand that as we get closer. I didn't want to wear them out so early on, and it's still early. Um, I wanted them to kind of get themselves back together and get that hunger back in them
Yeah.
for the season. But I didn't want to do it real early and have them just by the time the season get here, they're kind of spent. So we're doing some conditioning and everything, getting some light stuff in. Getting some cardio in, and some lightweight stuff, a lot more stretching stuff I seen last year. When I looked at all the tape and some of the notes I took, we didn't have a lot of injuries. Knock on wood. We just had some injuries, and it was a lot of them was because we didn't do a lot of stretching the way we should have. So
Okay.
I kind of went back and reinstituted stretching a lot more. Um, Now we're gonna be doing some power stuff, try to get stronger, of course, because we have to get stronger. We plan against bigger teams, of course. My team's not that big of a team, so we're gonna have to be, you know, a little better in certain places. Like we got to get stronger and got to get faster. We have to also, be able to commit to the whole system and do the little things. And sometimes we missed out on the little things. That's what we're talking about in that CCPA game. Some little things we missed.
Yeah.
The other 2 games we lost, I think we just lost those games just because we weren't all the way locked in, and we got boat raced those two games. So that's what happens.
Yeah, I had some uh opinions on those games. The Talawanda game was one of the two that I couldn't make it
Mm,
to,
mm,
partially because it was rescheduled, which everybody knows my opinions on that, and
right.
uh, especially weather. The other one, I guess I can give a mulligan because it was an unfortunate situation that happened off the field, although it had nothing to do with Schroeder and
Right.
or Batavia. But
Right.
yeah,
Right.
the weather, I'm like, man, look, football is played outside. We got to stop with this soft stuff. But again, I know I'm a leatherhead, as my boy Cam calls me. I'm very much a football purist and old school when it comes to that. So I
Mhm.
know not a lot of people gonna have the same mentality as me when it comes to stuff
I
like
said the
that.
same thing. I said the same thing. Believe me. Believe me. The day
Yeah,
we the day we were supposed to play those two games, um, we were ready to play.
yeah,
And it's just it's just a thing with my team. For some reason, when we have rescheduled games or games where we get there late or games that they just don't start on time or something like that, small stuff like that, we just don't play well. We don't play well at all, and we haven't played well the whole time I've been there. So,
because I had that discussion with some people who will remain
mm,
nameless that
mm,
are actually in the building
mm,
there.
mm,
And a lot of sometimes the answers that I got back was, well, based on the score. And I'm like, y'all are not understanding what I'm saying.
mm,
That initial energy, inertia, like you said, being ready to play is
mm.
something that you can't duplicate.
Right, right.
I don't know what the score would have been, but we'll never know because they didn't play on the original schedule
Mm-mm,
day. I made
mm-mm.
an example. I told them one of the three games that we lost my senior year was to Dayton Belmont, which
Okay,
actually ended up, in my opinion, keeping us out of the playoffs because we missed by point three. That
okay.
was the
That was it.
margin that we didn't get in,
Yeah.
and that's back when only the top eight in the region got
Right,
in. So we were
right.
number nine, but because the one loss that we had against Withrow, who was undefeated, ranked number one in Division Two with the great Dante Love,
Hmm.
yeah, that didn't hurt us.
Okay.
Even losing to Willersburg at the time, it was 10-0 also in their bracket was not necessarily a bad loss. But
Mm,
losing to Dayton Belmont, who only won two games, the entire year, even though they
right.
were a Division 1 school who we probably shouldn't have been playing anyway.
Mm,
Um, we had a bunch of injuries. They changed the game in the middle of the week to Thursday, and this is up in
mm,
Dayton at Welcome Stadium.
mm.
It was just one of those days where you just know it ain't your day. I was out. Our starting running back DeMarco was out. Our all-state quarterback Daryl Fullen probably shouldn't have been playing because he smelled like Ben Gay the whole day. He was so sore. But our backup Montez Wiggins, he got knocked completely. The what out against Taft
Hmm.
the previous week, so he couldn't play.
Right.
Um, our starting wide receiver Troy. You can go down the list. Now, still, I still feel like we should have beat them, but the freshmen forgot the footballs. They forgot the Gatorade in the water.
Right.
So Conwell was livid because it was just like you could just tell, like, man, you know. And we
Mm,
ended up losing 22-16. Had like four fumbles that game. It was just like, what is going on? So I know, and that's what I was telling Newberry, like, man, I don't want to look back because these kids got one time, as I kept telling them, to be the 2024 Schroeder Jaguars.
mm,
I don't want stuff off the field to affect, their potential outcome and what could happen
right.
this season. So that was what I was always harping on him about. I know I was getting on his nerves, too, but I'm just like, man, I know from experience, like, and it happened the same way with us. We started 3-0 that year also, just like y'all did. And then all of a
Mm,
sudden the district started changing game times and then everything that could work against you did. And I'm not an excuse maker, but I just know, stuff affects you sometimes
right.
in life. So
I
yeah.
just think that the culture there has been that culture for a long time, I guess. and it's still there. But I have to get better at getting them prepared, even if there is a change, and that's on
Yeah,
me. That's on
yeah,
me, and I'll take that. But I have to get better at getting them ready, even if they do change the time, change the date. I have to be able to to be able to inject that fuel in them where they're able to say, okay, all right, yeah, we good. We're gonna get it done.
yeah,
We gonna get it here tomorrow and we're gonna get it done, So
yeah. And like you said, as a leader, that's kind of the perspective or attitude you have to have anyway, because you don't want them to, start making excuses or feel sorry for themselves or buy into that,
mhm.
narrative either. Also, Nate did show up, not on the show, but
Oh, I see what's going on, Nate?
I see you, brother Nate. We were talking about your daddy, as you call him, Coach Cargile, and him missing the mark. But I'm glad we got Darren on here first anyway.
Yeah, I talked to Cargal today. He'll uh he'll be on there soon.
I know, Nate. I'm just giving you stuff, man, because this is only about the third show ever that you'd have missed in the 5 seasons. So, but no, I mean, all things considered, though, and we know how it is for Schroeder and
Mhm.
everything. But I'm glad that you are building, that tradition, back, and maybe that will get some respect from the district as far as scheduling games and everything else. So the one question before we move on from Schroeder that I wanted to ask you, like you said, learning how to win is one thing. Then when you get to that point, because I know we went through that also when we finally started being successful, maintaining that winning culture and expectations and
Right.
is a whole nother thing. So can you speak to what you believe is going to be necessary for cats not to get complacent or say, "Hey, man, we went 7-3 last year." Like, what do you think is necessary to keep that momentum going?
I think the losses will keep generating the energy that we need. Those three losses hurt. Those three
Yeah,
losses that we had hurt. Now, if they were two losses that we lost by a few points here and there, and everything. Not talking about the CCPA game, but the game against Batavia and the game against Telawanda. If we'd have been a lot closer to them, I don't think that it would have hurt as much. But I think that this group that I have coming up, my 25 class, they've been there the whole time. They've seen us when we were really, really bad till us having success from this past season. So I look forward to them just doing a whole lot more. They are taking a lot more ownership of the team. Where before I think I was looking for that person to call that captain. I have a lot of type A personalities out of this team that's coming up that's going to take over the team and they're gonna help us run this team. Um, like I said, it's always good to have a senior quarterback coming back.
yeah,
He is my spark plug, and we are joined at the hip because he was here when I first came here. So, and I think that they get it. I think they're starting to get it. You know, the three losses, and then going to Wyoming and losing that playoff game when it was new because we hadn't been to playoffs in a while. So everybody was kind of looking around like, wow, we're in the playoffs. And then you get out there and you start playing and you're losing and that feeling of being in the playoff goes away because you're
yeah,
losing. Now we kept fighting. I mean, we kept fighting, we kept coming at them and everything. But if we would have played a lot more solid early on and not played kind of like the deer in the headlight, I think we'd have did a lot better than we did. So all of that, is playing into us just being a whole better squad next season. This season is coming up, and the culture is building, and all we can do is year by year keep building this culture and keep getting the kids in and keep training them up and making young productive young men out of, you know.
Yeah.
So we're doing that. So
So, one of the things that I used to talk to my players about at Purcell is, maintaining that spark and that hunger, staying locked in. But in particular, I would always tell them the best teams, in my opinion, that I've seen, been on, coached, just watched in general, are player led teams, like you said,
right.
where you don't have to do all the reinforcing as a coach because there's
Mm,
leadership, there on the team.
right.
And I've already had conversations with BMAC about what, I expect,
Mm-hmm.
his last year here, and as a 4 year starter and the quarterback, his voice
Mm-hmm.
should go unquestioned at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But that requires, you to be exemplifying what you want your teammates, to do.
Yeah.
So, and I know he's not the only one that you got back, but I hope that the success from last year is something that they build on and makes them even more hungry to want to go out there and do it again. You
Well,
know,
they already know. I had a meeting the other day with them, and I told them 24 seasons over with.
yeah.
We can't live on the past. The past is over. So we have to get back to work. And getting back to work means we got to get back in here and we got to get better. We got to get better at everything that we do. Everything. That's the only way that we will be able to further the program. We have to get better.
And if I can say anything to my Jaguars, stay and get in that weight room, man.
Hmm. Yeah,
Get in that
yeah,
weight room.
yeah.
Luckily, y'all don't have to work out in the janitorial closet like we did.
I,
So,
I can just imagine how y'all used to have to do it, man.
well, yeah, I mean, you couldn't have the whole squad in there at the, same time. We had to break it up,
Hmm.
into positions, and some people need to be doing conditioning stuff right now because it was literally that small,
Right,
of a work area.
right.
But it came along with that hunger and that desire and being that first group, kind of pissed you off in a good way, because you felt like that me against the world. Look what they gave us to work with, you know what I mean? So it gave us that pit, in our stomach to go out there and overachieve and finally get it turned around junior and senior year for sure.
We want to make sure that we just like you always say, and I always tell them this. You know, when he describes us, he always says the second best record in Schroeder history. I told him that for a reason, and they kept asking me why are you saying that? I said because we have the second best record in Schroeder history. It's time for us to have the best record in Schroeder history. And they said, okay, we see what you're saying now.
And that's the thing. And I know they don't really understand. And even when I speak to them at the beginning of each year with the dinner that we put on, I'm not
Hmm.
in there to talk about yesteryear, whatever, we had our
Right,
time. It's more so to let them know where things started and how good they have it and where they can take it,
right,
from here.
right.
And that's what I said. Like I want y'all to put another banner in here. I want y'all to be 8-2, 9-1. Hell, I love to see a 10-0 squad, at Schroeder.
I would
You
too.
know, yeah.
I definitely would.
So Nate said, "Damn, he tried to jump in. I'm gonna try to send in this link real quick." But that's all I want, man. Is to them to take it, a step further and beat that record. Now, of course, me being an old jock, yeah, I'm gonna point out that it's two banners hanging in that gym, and I happen to be on one of them teams. I'm
Oh
proud
my
of that.
God. Oh
But
my God.
it from worst to first. But um, again, I know the last one was in 2014,
Right.
and like I said, I need and want to see that change, and I have faith in y'all that y'all can definitely do that. So don't ever mistake my kidding as me not wanting y'all to achieve it. But you know that because I'm there all
We
the
use it as
time. So
motivation. We use it all that for motivation. That's all motivation for us.
let's send this to Nate one more time.
All right.
See if he can get in. But yeah, and that's what I wanted to be. And the kids know, man. I believe it was Rob, uh, working at Kroger, and he came up and
Mm-hmm.
gave me a big dap and hug, man. And that's priceless to me, man.
Right.
Um, because it got to the point where a lot of them, and they follow me now on IG and stuff too, man. Like they want to see the OG there, on the
Mm-hmm.
sideline and support
They
them
they
and stuff.
enjoy y'all.
So
They enjoy y'all there. It actually motivates them to play harder. It
yeah,
does. It does.
yeah.
So.
So that's what I want them to know. Like I'm the biggest fan that y'all got. Outside of the
We
people that
appreciate it.
are already there and working with them
Mm-hmm.
on a
Mm-hmm.
regular basis. I want them to know that they have other people that care and are there. So that's part of why I do it.
We appreciate everything you guys do for us, man. Even the talks, man. The talks are beautiful because they need to know the history. They need to know the history.
Yeah,
Schroeder has a history just like any other CPS schools have a history.
it
Whether
really
everybody
does,
wants to.
man. And I hate how they act like it don't. But man, we even going back to the junior high days. There's tremendous history at
Right,
Schroeder as far as the football program.
right.
What's
Brother
up? What's
Nate
up?
made it in.
He
I
made it
made it. I
in.
made it. What's up, Coach?
What's going on, man?
Congratulations to you. I heard you was a cigar smoker, so you got to come see me.
Somebody telling you my secrets,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. Smoke Dog released all the secrets already, so I already
Okay, man.
know.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nate
man.
is a wholesale cigar seller. So
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna come see you there, Nate. I got
for
to come
sure, for
see
sure. Congratulations to you. I did have some questions too. Congratulations to you on the successful season.
you.
Um, as Al says, the second best record in school history.
I got it written down about 20
Yeah,
million
yeah. I about to
times.
say it's probably written down a couple places, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So my number one thing is, what do you think is the hardest thing with coaching this new generation of kids? Because
Oh,
I know our era, we dealt with it all. So
mm-hmm.
I'm the basketball guy. These was the foot. Him and John was the big football guys. But
Mm-hmm.
what you think? And I was the coach at Schroeder a couple years ago. So what you think the hardest thing is dealing with them now?
The hardest thing is to me, they like when we were growing up, when I was growing up, I know we wanted to play sports all day and all night.
Mm-hmm.
So when it came to going to a school or something like that, or going to get organized sports, it was on and popping. Everybody wanted to play. We had a big turnout, most of the
For
guys you
sure.
grew up with and everything. And in the day and age that we are in now, man, they just don't thirst for the sports that way.
mm,
That's a
Uh,
fact.
Schroeder
mm.
has some of the biggest kids I've ever seen in my life. I mean,
I remember
6'2",
seeing. I came to the
280.
game when y'all played Norwood, and I seen that big lineman. I'm like, Jesus,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he's huge.
he's coming back too. He'll be back.
Oh, he was only a junior or a
Yeah,
sophomore.
he was a junior.
Yeah, that was my guy. He used to dap me up before every game. Yep,
Big Day Day.
yep, they.
He's back.
Man.
He's back. But I think that the thirst for sports is not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I think they are. If they do play, they just play it just to play it and say they're doing something.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have as many kids that are so locked into it that it is like a way of life for them, like it used to be
Yeah,
for us coming up.
that was our way
That's
out.
the big one. Yeah, that was our way out, exactly. They have so many other avenues now that
Mm-hmm.
it's not a big thing for them now. When, like I said, you got a 6'2", 260-pound kid walking around the school and he's not playing football, you turn around and looking like, what's going on? What's wrong? And the kid will tell you, I don't like football. I don't play football. I'd rather go play my game, or I'd rather, go do this. Or
The
even
gaming is
how,
taking over. Gaming is
yeah,
taking over.
yeah, that the phones, and I wanna play basketball. A lot of kids that are just bigger kids want to play basketball now.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to play football. Football is that sport now that's everybody's kind of weaning away from. So,
They have so many more, as you alluded to, distractions than
hmm
we had in our day. Social
yeah,
media,
yeah.
tablets, technology in general. And I don't want to make it sound like I'm a caveman, like we didn't have PlayStation and stuff back in our day, because
I
obviously,
did. I'm older than you guys. I didn't have that.
well, we had it, but we were still in a generation,
We still
especially
went
born in the
outside.
mid to late '80s. We learned how to play outside first, so nothing was going to take precedence over that.
Right.
you know, at the end of the night, you come back in and do all that. But
When
whether
the
it was
street lights
playing,
come on,
yeah,
street
but
lights.
whether it was that hoop court or playing, baseball for the Braves or football for the Tigers, you get older, chasing girls at the mall, whatever, you were going to go outside first, then all that extra stuff.
You had to see
Right.
what
But
was going on outside.
but yeah, it was just different. I remember Coach Tiller at Purdue
hmm
explaining why he retired. And he was saying, like, when he first started off coaching, he could huddle the guys up after practice or before practice and ask them. Remember when we had one Thursday night game or something back in the day, and he'd say, "Who watched the game last night?" When he first started coaching, you know, basically the whole team, raised their hand.
Right. Right.
By the time he was finishing up his career, he asked that question. Maybe two, three hands go up
Right.
because they were just in the other stuff, or like you said, just playing it just to play, or hey, I'm good enough to get a scholarship. And I don't know nothing about that because I ate, slept, and football.
I
Like,
did too. I did
a
too.
lot of people would say, man, you never worried about getting hurt or injured or killed out there on the field. I said, no, because I was one of those nuts out there that was like, man, even if that happened, what better way to go out than doing the absolute thing that you love more than anything on this planet? I don't know. It was just different,
Football
for
purists.
me.
Football
Yeah.
purists.
So I get that, and that
hmm
being, one of the challenges, because I felt like that as a coach too, whether it was little league or coaching in personnel. Sometimes it would be very irritated to feel like I wanted something more than the players that I was coaching,
hmm
Yeah,
and
And
trying to get them to understand what was
it's the
at
same
stake
way in
and what you got
basketball.
the opportunity to do right now.
I just think the kids nowadays they see so much on TV and everything, and they have so many other avenues to get into other things that it's not a priority anymore.
Hmm.
A lot of us made sports a priority. I couldn't
Mhm.
wait for football season to start back up. I couldn't wait. So I
Yeah,
played football all year round, even in the snow, because that's all I loved. That was everything to me.
I didn't even play football, but I shout out to D'Angelo Washington. He the reason I didn't play. But
cause
um, but the thing
my
is,
cousin ran
even
you off the field.
yeah, no, he fell on my leg. But besides that, even in the neighborhoods, we were playing in people's yards and playing tackle, running man,
hmm
killer man,
hmm
and doing those things. Like so, the fact that these kids don't go outside and they really don't get out there and do anything, that's a big
Mm-mm,
difference.
mm-mm.
I remember that being the extent of the conversation with some of my friends, like literally calling one another. Hey, you want to talk some football?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll be outside 5 minutes.
Hmm.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah. And our kids now, to me, they don't. Some of that's a small percentage of them. They want to work hard. Everybody else is like, man, this is too much, coach. And I've had them say to me at practice, coach, this is too much. How is it too much? It's
I
not going
went
to be
through
too
worse.
much on game
I
day.
went through worse.
You know what I mean? It's not going to be too much on game day when that guy in front of you is getting ready to knock your head off, and then you turn around and look at me like, coach. I'm like, what are you looking at me for? I'm not on the field with you. I can only do so
Did you
much.
forget this physical part of
E-
a part of football? You
Exactly.
forgot about
Exactly.
this?
But
Exactly.
but you
Exactly.
know what? It's like Conway always said, it's not supposed to be easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Yep.
Everybody would do it. Exactly. And that's,
And
I'm
that's
gonna
my
be
thing. Like
honest.
I'm perfectly okay with this game not being for everybody. Now they've tried to legislate certain things to take, the game away that we grew up playing, watching, and love him, but it's still a physical game, and you're
It
never going to
definitely
be able
is.
to make it a completely safe game because it was never meant to be a safe
Mm-mm.
game. It's not for everybody, and that's why I still think they go overboard with it because it's like you don't have to play this game.
Nope.
My coach says it best. He tells the kids all the time, this is a gladiator sport. And
Yeah,
they looked at us like, what does that mean? That means that guy across from you is trained, is geared up to beat you at all costs. A gladiator sport.
yeah. Only thing more physical or more gladiator to me is boxing,
Yeah, yeah. That's a lot. Yeah, that is a lot. Yeah.
which is a great segue because Nate, I'm glad you came in. So it's official. The Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford fight has been agreed upon and signed and will take place in September
Thank
of
God.
this year.
Took long enough.
He said, thank God.
Well,
Man. We
I
almost lost it. I ain't even gonna hold you. We almost lost it about 2 weeks ago. We almost lost the fight because they
but you
couldn't
know,
agree on weight.
well, that's what I want to speak on
Mm-hmm.
because you know me, I've never picked against Bud in any of his fights throughout his entire career. Never.
This one hard. This
But
one's
I'm
hard.
but I'm telling you right now, I think he bit off a little bit more that he could chew. And it's because he didn't look great moving up to 154,
Not at all.
in his last fight. But I try to give people a mulligan if it's their first fight in a new, weight class, get their legs under them and stuff. So now you're jumping two more weight classes to super middleweight to 168 pounds. And a dude in
I think that's his
Canelo,
natural weight. Without working out and all that. I
yeah,
think that's
but
a natural
his
weight.
natural weight and what he fights at is two
Two
different
different things,
things.
for sure.
Well,
Be-
will he have the power to
That's
do it
my
with
problem.
Canelo?
That's the problem I'm thinking, coach, because I'm like, I don't think that power go transfer. I don't think it's gonna transfer at all.
And then
Because
you looking at
Canelo gonna
somebody
start
like
walking through punches.
Canelo that I mean, you can look at him, pause, and tell he's just a thick bone dude anyway. Canelo
Well, he
probably
walks
walks
around. He
around,
about 100, about 200 pounds,
and that's
probably.
what I
Yeah,
was
he
getting ready
probably
to
about
say.
180,
Probably about
190.
200 pounds, if we
Hmm.
want to be honest.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he could still move around at that weight too. That's what
Hmm.
I'm worried about with Bud, like, to put on that weight and actually fight at it and be in shape and toned and everything. Is that going to be too much for him, to do? I don't know. I think he bit off a little bit more than he could chew in this one.
I
I think
agree.
he's gonna make it a tactical fight. He's gonna use his length because he's got like a 4 inch length on
Yeah, he's got like four
Canelo.
inches on him. Yeah.
So I think he's gonna use his length and he's gonna show he's a boxer. If you looking for this fight to thinking he's gonna go in there and demolition him or knock him out, you looking at the wrong fight. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna go out and he's gonna show that he can box. He's gonna jab the hell out of him probably, and he's gonna try and stay away from that power.
He ain't gonna
I
have no
guarantee you.
choice.
Yeah,
He's not gonna have a choice.
yeah.
Emphasis on try.
It is gonna.
Because the one thing I do respect Bud about is his angles. He has mastered the angles of
Hmm.
punching
Hmm.
and finding in the slip game has gotten as the last 4 or 5 fights I've watched. I've noticed like defensively he's gotten better as far as slipping and countering. So those have been the last couple fights I didn't watch. I'm like, oh, he done got a whole lot better. And then we all know Canelo's known for getting hit.
That's
So
true. That's true.
this is
I,
something we gotta think about that as well. We can't shoot him off.
Canelo is not necessarily a stationary target, though.
He's
He's one
not.
of them that will take, your one or two punches to get off his combination because he knows if he hits you, more than likely you're gonna sit down, you
Hmm.
mm,
know.
mm.
So that's
We
why
seen
he
that with
does
Jamel
that.
Charlo. We seen Charlo running around that ring. He did not want to feel no more of them punches. We knew what it
See,
was.
and
Charlo
Charlo is,
different though. Charlo different,
I was gonna say
man.
Charlo's tough though,
Yeah.
Mm.
and there wasn't that much difference in the weight that he had to come up to fight Canelo,
Charlo,
and
I think, is a natural. He's more natural weighted to fight him at that than than Bud
Yeah,
Crawford.
for sure.
I
That's
Right.
it. That was
And
yeah.
and you see what happened. That's my
Yeah.
whole point, right?
right.
It wasn't that much of a jump for him. He only went up basically two weight class because he was 154 also, but like you said, his body frame is more suited to be a middleweight or super middleweight
Yeah.
Right.
than Bud. Bud
And he's
is
6 foot. So
Bud is a welterweight to me.
yeah,
Like,
Bud is a welterweight. There's no ifs,
him
ands, or
moving
no.
up from 147, I'm like, I guess, to keep himself motivated, that's what he needed to do. But I felt like weight wise, that was the division he should have stayed, in.
I'm gonna say this, Al. We know Bud wanted to unify. We know that. But in the back of his mind, he has not got that big money fight yet. And this is
No.
it. This is it. Cause Arrow was a money fight. Don't get it twisted. That's my boy.
It
Arrow took a L
was.
real bad.
I was
But
mad that he beat my boy up that
oh
bad.
man, that ended the career seeming like.
Well, he shouldn't have been fighting in that fight anyway.
Nah.
That eye was still screwed up, and
Yep.
he knew it. And he just went out there and fought and screwed it up some more. So
Mm-hmm.
See,
For
brother
sure.
Darren, one of the few times, and Nate been my friend for a long time. One of the few times Nate got upset at me and started yelling. I was out of his crib watching the fight. He was so angry. Although I told him this whole time leading
First
up.
of all, I don't lose when I talk about boxing. I'm not wrong about boxing. Al knows this. So I ain't never. When it
Other
came
than
to
a
that
couple
prediction in this fight, I was upset because that wasn't how it was supposed to go.
other than a couple times of me betting on Anthony Joshua for no apparent reason and
Mm.
and Ryan Garcia losing the tank, I'm usually not wrong either. But
I
I
don't know
knew
why.
in
I
my
don't know
heart's
why.
to
I don't
heart.
know why you
No,
thought
you was
Garcia
off.
was
You
going
was
to beat
off
Tank
on Rolly
anyway.
too.
Yeah, I
You
was
just don't
off
like
on
Tank.
rolling.
You just don't like Tank, do you?
He's
I don't
not a
want to go
fan.
that far with
He's
it,
not a
but
fan.
I'll say that I'm not a fan. I won't say that I dislike the brother, but
Well, why not? What's wrong with him?
He doesn't like his arrogance.
But I bet you like Floyd and his arrogance.
I did. I
Floyd
mean,
gonna be a lot of
there's
money.
not
A
really a
lot of
rhyme
money.
or reason to it. I'm just not
Tank
a
definitely.
big
It's
tank
probably
guy.
because it's probably hey coach. It's probably because he light skinned for real. I think that's
Yeah,
what it
that
is.
might be it. That might
Man,
be
that
it.
ain't got nothing to do with it.
That might be it.
I wish him and Floyd had have been able to, stay together. I understand he wanted more freedom for his, career and
Mhm.
stuff like that. But I always hate when these situations turn out like this. I was happy to see Chris Webber and Jalen Rose get back together, man. I like happy endings the older I get, man. I'm tired of everybody always, beefing,
Well,
now you,
money make people beef.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Money is the root of all evil.
It's the root. I was getting ready to say it before you got it out, Nate. It is the root of all evil.
See, but Floyd put him on that path, and I know he got tired of that narrative too, because like I said, he
Mhm.
probably wanted to be his own, man. But it's like if you got somebody showing you how to get the bag and bringing you along, at the right speed, and stuff like, well, why go away from that?
The thing is, Floyd showing them the path. They're not respecting the path because they're getting money hungry. The money hungriness kicks in. They like, oh well, I see Floyd getting all this money. Let me go ahead and do what I can do and see if I
Mhm.
can do the same thing. Tank
Well,
is probably the closest right now because AB fell off. He fell real bad after the last couple of days. But
He is off.
shout out to AB, man. He's done. We gotta wish him well wishes so he
I,
get through this tough time.
nah, and I'm, same thing, because one of my favorite fighters used to be Zab Judah, and I
Mm-hmm.
felt like he was the same way. He was always more worried about
Super
stuff
Judah.
outside of the ring and, being a gangster and
Mm-hmm.
being known and stuff than,
He got taught some lessons. He got taught some lessons
yeah.
though.
But
Costa
that's
got
what
him.
I'm saying. Like
Costa Zoo.
even that, he should have beat Costa Zoo,
He should
you
have.
know.
He got slipped.
But
He got put on his butt, and they ain't never been the same since, boss.
yeah, I know that was the problem. And that became a meme before memes,
Yep.
with him falling back down and
Doing the
everything.
doing
But
the wobble, trying to get up talking to the ref.
I just look at fighters sometimes like and this is a little bit different example, but still kind of the same thing. Mike Tyson, when he was being trained by Teddy Atlas and Kevin Rooney, was a completely different fighter than when he started getting managed by Don King and becoming strictly a headhunter, not moving his head and, let his skills erode and stuff. You
Mm-hmm.
know, sometimes if you stick with the original and don't let all the glamour and glitz and, like you said, money, get in the way.
But if you look at it from a big point of view, a lot of guys that get in that spotlight, as soon as that big money starts to come, you see them decline.
Mm-hmm.
A whole lot of them.
Yep.
And that's what we've been noticing here in sports for a while.
That's why Ali said he would go to that farm in Pennsylvania where he had to pump his own water from the artesian well and stuff, and there wasn't no electricity or nothing out there. Because, like he said, you get to the point of being intoxicated in your own greatness and
Mm-hmm.
training in hotels with crystal chandeliers and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. There's no way you can maintain, that edge. I said the same thing about Anthony Joshua when he had his first fight here in America and probably his last fight, in America. When he got here, he was doing all the tours and going to Hot 97 and on the Breakfast
Mm-hmm.
Club with Charlemagne and all them and talking about, I'm here listening to all the old hip hop and Notorious B.I.G. and this and this. And I'm like, and I saw that.
Selling a dream.
I literally saw the hotel in the background and it did have a crystal chandelier
It happened
back
in Mike.
there.
It happened in Mike Tyson back when he was fighting Buster Douglas
Yeah,
when he
they was
went to
treating him like
Japan.
crazy in Tokyo.
I was in Japan then. I was stationed in Japan then.
Oh,
Okay.
And
wow.
if you would have seen the line of women going to his hotel all the way out the door, you understand why he got beat up the way he got beat up. You do.
Oh, yeah. He talked about what he
And
was
it's bad
doing
when
in that.
Bobby tell you need to go lay
Yeah,
down.
when Bobby say champ, I think you should get some sleep
Hmm.
tonight.
Hmm. Yeah,
You know it's bad when Bobby's saying that.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was bad, man. It was bad. It was really bad.
I really think I'm gonna say this. The reason Tank is still doing what he's doing right now is because he's rocking with his old school and he ain't going nowhere else. He will not change his trainer. They tried to get him to change his trainer after the Cruz fight and the Santa Cruz fight when he ended up knocking him out. Well, he said, "I'm not leaving him. He came and got me out of Baltimore. I'm not. Why would I leave?" So I do love that's one thing I do love about Tank is because he's loyal to his trainer and his trainer is taking care of him and teaches him how to protect himself.
I like Tank. I'm always gonna ride with him. I like
Mm-hmm.
him. And he does his thing. A lot of people talk bad
So
about him.
I gotta
I
ask,
like him.
fellas, is that on my end?
Yeah, that's on your end.
Cause I don't understand how Kendrick came on. Cause I ain't been listening to dude, and ain't going to.
All right, yeah,
Okay.
you better leave him alone.
I don't want to hear that at the Super Bowl. I think Drake is gonna take care of that with the lawsuit.
Nah, I think it's gonna happen at the Super Bowl.
I think that's gonna happen. I think that's gonna happen, boss.
He just won how many Grammys?
Five, six,
It's 5.
5 or 6.
One more than Drake.
Yeah, I think that's gonna happen, man.
It's a real petty gene going on right now with Kendrick Lamar. The Canadian suit and everything.
Yeah.
It's a real moment of I'm on top of the world and I'm being petty about it.
Yeah.
But he said it ain't personal. It's more of it's a business. Said the battle rap been going on for years.
It has been.
So you can't get started now that I'm watching you on these tracks left and right and you really can't do nothing. You ain't got no comebacks.
Nah, he down right now. He might as well
Yeah.
sit back and
Stick to
have to
the
deal
R and
with it.
B. Just
Yep.
go to the R and B.
Yep. Just
You
sit
gotta
there and deal with it.
Yep. Just go to the R and B.
Your time coming.
Mm-hmm. You just gotta
Again.
He got to let it cool down. That's all he got to do. Let it cool down for a minute.
Sound like Nas and Jay-Z.
Yeah, what Nas do? He cooled it. He let it cool
Ether.
down.
Ether. It's all
Yeah,
about ether.
yeah. Ether was it, but it was
Ether
just the fact that Jay-Z kept coming back, track.
he
Ether
couldn't
set it off though.
he couldn't do nothing with ether.
That's why he was doing track.
So, what was the greatest diss song, brother Darren, that you ever remember?
Um, for me, there was two: ether and no Vaseline.
No, Vaseline's at the
Ooh,
top.
Ice
At the
Cube, boy.
top. That was at the absolute top.
I
Yeah, so
mean,
that was
when you
title that came on my Mac because I'm like, man, I ain't even clicked on nothing, but that came on. So for me, and this is gonna sound crazy, Nate knows what I'm getting ready to say,
Mm.
but it's almost blasphemous because the Notorious B.I.G. is and always will be my favorite rapper, but my favorite diss song
hit him up,
ever. Yeah, it's just.
Hit him up was tough.
I
Jesus.
mean, like anything that Pac did, you could feel his soul in that track. But it's like,
legendary,
damn, that was vicious, man.
legendary.
Yeah. You know, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go a little. I'm gonna go a little newer. Bust down
What?
by Gucci.
And see,
See,
I don't listen to Gucci and all that. I
It was.
just
It
Nate,
was. No, I'm gonna just give y'all a brief history. That was the song he made after the whole thing with Jeezy, and he was talking about he put his boy in the dirt.
mm,
see,
now I gotta go
Nate,
listen to it. Now I gotta go
to
listen to it
to,
now.
to
Yeah.
quote to quote Big John, Nate likes all that down south jungle junk.
Oh yeah,
You
man.
know,
Why it's got to be jungle jump?
that's what it is,
I was at the
man.
store every Tuesday for a No Limit CD, so you can't be mad at me.
Mm.
Well, we were all at All About Sounds when Mystical came to the hood, came to Madisonville. That
Yeah,
was a historic day.
I
Never
still
forget
am trying
that.
to figure out why he came to. Well, I know why he came. Never mind.
Cause of Coach
Nah,
Lee.
nah,
Come
It
on,
wasn't just
man.
because of Coach Lee.
Juvie
Man.
coming to College Hill was monumental. Tour bus and everything.
For real,
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
he must have had something out there.
He had some people out there. It was all right. It was a good little time.
Man, you
Yeah.
know how well connected Coach Lee was back in the day.
I do, but
I gotta
I
keep
know
it
about the other
mild, but
things that was behind there too.
stop talking about my coach. Hey, you gonna have Juan Diaz mad at me.
He'll be fine.
On here.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, he be fine.
Nah,
He be
you
fine.
know what?
His daddy wasn't involved with that part. His daddy wasn't
The,
involved with that part.
the thing that was funny was I remember back in the day asking Coach Lee innocently, you know, as his 10-year-old quarterback. I said, Coach Lee, because we had the deal when we won, he would take the entire team out, whatever parents wanted to come along to help, to whatever restaurant they wanted to go to. I
Hmm.
mean, and we voted on it. I mean, I remember us deep in Red Lobster, Outback, Ponderosa, KFC. But I did ask him one day, and it was innocent. I just said, Coach Lee, how you got so much money, man? And I remember his answer. He said, "Well, I buy things and I sell them back to people for more than I paid for them."
That's the
And
American way.
when you 10, you like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, that's
I
live for real.
I didn't think nothing up. Well, I mean, he had a record store, he had a barber shop, like
That's right. Coach Lee was connected with the record store. I always forget about that.
that was his store all about time.
I know. I always forgot that was his store. I forgot.
Yeah, I love him to death, so I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Shout out to Coach Lee.
yeah, man. Two of the funnest years of my life, being his quarterback. Because I remember he even told my dad, who, despite what people thought as the president, he didn't interfere with, his coaches, what they wanted to do. But I remember he told my dad when I moved up to 9 or 10, he said, I ain't ever gonna have no 9-year-old quarterback, just so you know. Big Dave, and he said, "Well, if you don't think he's the best option at quarterback, then it just is what it is." Of course, I
What team?
became the first 9-year-old quarterback that he ever had, but
What team was this?
Madisonville Tigers.
Okay. Okay.
That's where the majority of that first Schroeder team, we were made up of Madisonville Tigers, Hilltop Hawks, and Little Red Machine.
Mm-hmm.
I remember them all. I coached against all three of them before.
Because
You
JT,
know.
my best friend, one of my best friends, Jeff Cargill's son, he played for the Little Red Machines.
Mm.
So he was over there, but he ended up going to St. X. He didn't go to public school though.
Right. Right.
So we got to talk about it before we get out of here. Super Bowl LIX down there in Magnolia. We got the Kansas City Chiefs and them plain ass ugly uniforms that I'm tired of seeing on TV, gunning
Second,
for
number
to be the
3.
first team in the Super Bowl era to win 3 straight. Lombardi's Packers did in the late 50s, but in the Super Bowl era, they would be the first to do it. Or we could see J Dog and Saquon Barkley and Philly, where the Brantley name originates, stand up. Uh,
He
when
taking look at him taking taking credit
You know he
lightly.
gonna put some credit on it. He gonna put some
I'm
credit
not
on
I'm
it.
not an Eagles fan, but that's the only other team that I tip my cap to and wish well. Yeah, I'm strictly Bengals, but you know, uh, I hope that Philadelphia wins for a number of reasons. But
I'm
let
I'm
me
I'm with you. I'm with you.
let let me say this, Coach. Philadelphia wins if you fill in the blank.
Philadelphia wins if they, of course, with that front line, control the line of scrimmage, and they can get some big plays on Spagnola's man defense.
Mm.
He plays some zone, but that man defense he plays with McDuffie, because McDuffie is going to be on AJ Brown more than likely.
That's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be a matchup.
But
Yep.
Devontae is going to be the one they need to
I'm
get
just going to say
loose.
that's my X factor
He's
right
going to
there.
be the one to get loose. If the Slim Reaper get loose, that game's over. It's over.
Yeah, I got him down for a touchdown already.
I would like to see them also open things up by mixing in steady diet of Saquon Barkley, at least to keep the defense honest.
They're going to load the box. They're going to load the box on Saquon. Okay. Initially, they're going to
Who?
blitz their inside linebackers on Saquon because they know they like to run off tackle. So they're going to blitz their linebackers, stuff him up. That's why Jalen Hurts is going to be the guy that's running that ball at first.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to later open up. If they hit him on a couple of good plays, it's going to open up. I'm telling you, it's going to open up.
You think this offensive line is good enough to keep Chris Jones at bay, so to speak?
I think so.
I think
I think
Buffalo
so.
did a good job with him
Yeah,
actually.
but he may now. Chris Jones is another. He's a mutant almost to me. Chris Jones
Yeah,
makes plays when you think you got him saddled down and you need a play. He usually makes a
Yeah,
play.
he does make it.
yeah.
So he's that X factor for me. If they can keep him under wraps, I think they can gouge him and get some big plays. But Bolton and that Chanel linebacker, they're coming. They're coming
Yeah.
fast too. They're not waiting. They coming down here. So
Yeah.
Nate, Kansas City wins if
Kansas City wins if Patrick Mahomes distributes the ball all over the field. If he finds his pieces all game, all day, it's gonna be a long day for Philly. And they can't let Travis Kelsey get over 7 to 8 catches. They
he is
let
the
him
one to
get
score.
7 to 8 catches.
Mhm.
That's the game.
well, we can't allow them to do that.
And
Otherwise,
I
we'll
don't
be
need to
looking
see
at
Taylor Swift
Taylor
every other
Swift the
possession.
whole damn game. So, because they're gonna cut that camera back.
Oh yeah, it's going
Uh,
to the box.
Joe is.
Man, I'm tired of seeing that. And the thing about it is, initially when Kansas City got their first one, or even the second one, really, I had a little sympathy for Big Red, as they call him, Andy Reid,
Mm-hmm.
and I was happy to see him get his first one because
Yeah.
all the work he did in Philadelphia, and I don't really think he did anything to get fired in Philadelphia. I just know that as Pat Riley said about professional sports, the shelf life for a coach in one spot is 10 years. And that's if you make it to that point, because we know on average you're not going to, at least not in the same place.
Unless you're in the Pittsburgh Steelers organization.
Yeah, I about to say if you were Pittsburgh, you go last a long
Yeah.
time. They gonna
Well,
give you 15.
considering they've had three coaches since 1969,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but
What do you
that's
Never
think they
lost,
also the
go?
definition of stability too.
and all three of them have won Super Bowls.
Yep.
All three of them.
Yep.
So, coach,
So
let
Which
me
make
ask you this: what you think they're gonna do in Pittsburgh with the quarterback situation? You bring somebody new in,
I
you
think
keep
that
one.
Nah, you don't bring nobody new in. They got the
I
quarterback there.
I think that they're gonna have to transition to
Fields.
Fields. I don't know
Thank
if
you.
they will because they're one organization that they feel loyalty to older athletes. They give them the benefit of the doubt, and they're gonna probably give Russell the benefit of the doubt, and he's gonna probably be the starter again until either he gets hurt or something really goes bad where they like we just can't keep him now. We have to.
But see, making the change when Justin Fields started 4-2 was a mistake in my
Yeah.
mind. Anyway, I know why Coach Tomlin did it. And then when they got on a little roll, it made people feel like it was justified, in doing so. And we got a buddy that went to school with Nate, Willie Wilson, grew up with us in Madisonville. He
Mhm.
just kept every time the Steelers won when they put Russ in there. Like, you still feel that way? You still feel that? Yes, I still feel like his best football is behind him. I
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
That doesn't mean that he's not smart and savvy and doesn't know how to win some of those games and kind of post the little bit above average record, that he did. But at the end of the day, he kind of fizzed out the way I expected him to. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
not as quickly, but I think Justin Fields would have provided that spark. And I still say, and I know people are gonna say, well, of course you're gonna say that because you're a Buckeye guy, and I do have Justin Fields as the second greatest quarterback in Ohio State history. We
No, you said second grade.
second, yes,
Who's first?
Troy Smith.
Cleveland guy. 216 all day. You right?
Mr. Glenville.
Of
Uh,
course.
What school did you
but
go at in Cleveland, coach? I'm sorry, I missed that.
West Tech and Adams, Zane
Okay.
Adams. Yeah.
My nephew go to Shaker.
Oh, sorry for him.
Shaker, the
Sorry for him.
bird.
I am too. I am too. We mad because he didn't come down here and play basketball. He'd have probably been a Schroeder, but we'll leave it alone. His mama
Sorry for him.
held that down. Yep.
Yeah, Shaker ain't what Shaker used to be.
That's
Put it
what I
just
was
that way.
just telling. I was just telling his dad, like, bro, Shaker ain't the same Shaker.
It ain't the same Shaker, man. It ain't at all.
Where
My
where
best
did
friend is a Shaker.
where did Nate Clemens go? Did he go to Shaker? Oh,
Shaker.
Hmm.
yeah.
Shaker. Mm-hmm.
The talent used to be a Shaker. It shifted in the last 10 years, 10, 15. No, it's been about 10 years. I
They
ain't gonna
got
say
a
15.
they got a they just had one graduate from Shaker and he went to all the way to Oregon. He's got Ohio State bloodline.
Oh,
Hmm.
Jesus.
Trey McNutt.
I've seen that name. I've seen
Is
that
His
name
that Richard
somewhere.
McNutt's?
his dad
Okay.
played for Ohio
I was about
State.
to say, yeah.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah,
nasty.
Richard was the
Damn
starting
them Oregon
corner
Ducks in them uniforms.
in 2002, and he got hurt,
Hmm.
and that's when they made the decision to move Chris Gamble. Well, they didn't move him; he went both ways, played
Yep.
corner and
Hmm.
wide receiver. It was only because Richard McNutt got hurt, so it actually worked out in the Buckeyes' benefit. They discovered that Gamble could play both ways.
Yep.
He did it in high school too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Gamble did.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple of them that did. Gamble and was another one that played both ways in high school. Uh, Samuels, I think it was.
Yeah,
So
but
Did
Samuels,
Boston play both ways too, Al?
no,
He was just both. Yeah. Okay.
no, because David Boston is my favorite Buckeyes wide
Yeah, I know.
receiver all the
That's
time.
why
who?
I asked.
Who?
David
David
Boston.
Boston.
Mr.
Uh,
Steroid himself.
okay, and he still dominated.
He did. He did.
No, he showed up from Humble, Texas, 6'2", 230. At Ohio State. And the funny story, I got to put this out there about him before we move on. So he knew he was going to Ohio State. He was one of the best players in the country. Coach Coop got him to come up here. And he purposely took his visit to that team up north, knowing full well that he was going to Ohio State. But he wanted to tell Charles Woodson that he was going to burn him in person.
And that stirred up that fight they had.
That stirred up that fight, and what Marcus Ray, the safety at Michigan, did to him also,
Mm-hmm.
because he talked trash to him too, and that's
Mm-hmm.
why he undercut him. Now that would probably be a 15-yard penalty,
Yeah, for sure.
at the very least, so a personal foul. Um, but actually, Boston did burn him in that game.
Hmm.
It was like a 60-something-yard bomb from Joe Germain. Um,
Joe
and
Germain.
he got
Jeez.
a flag for turning around, uh, taunting him. But even Marcus Ray admitted before the game, he said, I walked up to Seawood and I said, bro, you sure you don't need no help? He looked kind of swole, bro. But yes,
He was a big dude.
that was my guy. But there's so many Ohio State wide receivers, even dating back to Chris Carter. It's like impossible to pick your favorite,
Yeah, it's hard.
Teddy
really.
Ginn, baby boy. 216 all day, man.
I like that combination of Teddy Ginn and Santonio Holmes. That was deadly.
Mm.
That was one of the most terrifying combinations.
I
Now
mean,
they're gonna be more terrifying this year coming up.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, definitely.
They're gonna
Terry
be
Glenn, people forget about him, the Blitz Cup Award winner.
Terry Glenn was just ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
Joey Galloway was
He was
another
so smooth
burner.
with it though. Terry Glenn was so smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really was. Him and Olave was really smooth
Yeah.
too out
Fluid.
there.
Olave was
Yeah.
fluid. Real fluid.
I love Michael Jenkins. People don't talk about him enough. The most clutch wide receiver in Buckeyes history. Um, yeah, man. Of course Teddy, but Gonzo,
I'm still gonna say again, because you can't beat speed.
speed kills, as they say.
And he killed a many a folk.
But no, I love everybody from that era, especially.
Especially again was the number one corner in the nation. Went to Ohio State and they made him a receiver.
I didn't
Yeah.
even know that.
Yeah, he was the number one
Yep.
corner in the nation.
U.S. Army Navy All American.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people all the time, and they get mad when I say it. Look, all you need to go back and do is look at the opening kickoff against the University of Florida in that national championship game. I don't know what would have happened, ultimately, but losing Teddy again was devastating because
It
he
was.
proved on that opening play that not even the SEC could do nothing with that speed.
Hey man, speed kill, bro.
Mm-hmm. John Madden. I mean, yeah, John Madden said it best.
Speed kill. That's all
Speed
you
kill.
gotta say.
Speed kills. And I got some
So
speed this year coming in. I got some speed too.
you got some speed this year,
I
man.
got some speed this year. Yeah. Gonna be okay.
Cause we're losing Elijah
Yeah, English is
and
gone.
Joe
Bruce is gone. Big
to
Jaden is gone. Lil Jaden is gone.
yeah.
That's four.
Mm-hmm.
Then you
Wait a
got
minute. You talking about Jaden Allen?
no Jaden Allen's still there. Jaden Allen's
Oh, I was
sophomore.
about to say, man. Like I thought
Mm-mm.
he.
He's a sophomore. He just and shout out to Jaden Allen, man. He just won the CMAC at 157 pounds, man.
Yeah,
155
I
Yes,
kg.
saw
sir.
that wrestling
CMAC
champ.
champ. Yeah, CMAC wrestling champ, man. Shout out to Jaden, man. He works hard, man. He's gonna be an animal this year. He's gonna be an animal this year. I can't wait.
See, that's how you know Schroeder done came up, man. They got a wrestling team, all these sports and stuff. We couldn't
They
dream
didn't have
about
that back when
field.
y'all was there. That's for
No,
sure.
He's
man, we
getting
ain't
ready
no
to be off the
wrestling
hook.
team.
Y'all ain't seen nothing yet. They got baseball coming up for boys and girls. They got flag football for girls coming up, and they got volleyball for boys coming up.
What?
Oh wow.
I'd have played volleyball.
Mhm.
Oh, I know Triggs and them would have
Yeah,
played,
yeah.
boy,
I'd
because
have got them to play.
they used to love that in gym class,
In gym
man.
class, oh yeah, we used to run amok on that. That was
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, they got it all. They got it all stirring up over there on Duck Creek, man.
See, now all we need is that stadium, so we don't have to depend on.
You're gonna have to open up another show for that discussion.
Hmm.
Cause I've been wanting that and been waiting on that for a good minute now.
I've had some conversations with Newberry. I don't know what I'm at liberty to discuss, but I
That's
wish
over
that
Newberry Head. That's board education budget.
to a degree, but he knows how to get that conversation started and already has with several people. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
we have some companies around us that
Oh yeah,
could,
for sure,
could put
definitely.
that whole package together, and that package could be done.
yeah,
You
I
know
don't
what I
want to
mean?
say because, like I said, I don't know what I'm at liberty
Yeah,
to
yeah, and me either. But I'm just
discuss.
saying,
But yeah,
right?
he's talked to me about
Yeah.
those because that was another thing, like we talked about earlier, when they had to reschedule or cancel games and stuff. And I'm like, well, if we had our own stadium, we wouldn't have to worry.
Don't have to
Yes,
worry about
sir.
it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We
So
got we got the foundation there. The foundation is there, man. We need some help, man, and we need some people to jump on board and let's get it done, man.
yeah. So speaking of coaches and things like that, so they picked my. We were just talking about the Buckeyes. They picked my coaching staff clean when Chip Kelly decided to go to the Raiders
Hmm.
as the offensive coordinator. Jim Knowles turned Benedict Arnold and went to Penn State to be the highest paid defensive coordinator in college football history at $3 million a year. But he does have Philadelphia roots, so I guess that's part of it. I guess,
Franklin said, if I can't beat them, I'm gonna grab their D coordinator to beat
and he's still gonna lose.
them.
But um, offensive line coach left to go to the NFL
Mhm.
as well. But news today, the Buckeyes did give Ryan Day a 6 or 7 year extension.
Second highest paid.
Yep.
It's funny how winning cures all, but I
Hmm.
am one of those buck
I
nuts
seen
that's
that
gonna
earlier.
say
Somebody else said that.
that
And
it,
they got a
it,
new
it don't
coordinator.
quite cure all though, because I'm still a traditionalist enough that I gotta say you gotta win that last Saturday in November.
For sure.
Period. Point blank.
That's a
Yeah.
must. It's a must.
I think that for this year, I didn't like it, but I'd rather have a natty than that team up north game. I would rather
Yeah.
have I would rather have a natty than gold pants. That's just me.
And that was the first one of the 14, wasn't it? That
Huh?
was the first one of the 14
First
team.
one of the 12 team
12
era,
team.
yes.
My bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? It's great, and I wouldn't trade it. And the
Dang, we should have went up there.
yeah, no, the commitment that it took for those guys to lock back in emotionally and
Hmm.
do what they did is, something that can't be understated because that was devastating.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And most teams would have folded.
Hmm.
Most coaches wouldn't have been able to get their players to lock back in. after that. So Ryan Day deserves a hell of a lot of credit for that. And I don't want to be one of those unrealistic butt nuts that says, well, but so I'm not going to. I'm just gonna say that for everybody that says, "Oh, it doesn't matter now," stop. It still matters. That game still matters.
It does.
It does.
Um, it's just different
I still
now.
like I still like the Natty better than like gold pants though.
He all against it, man. He's against that.
All I'm gonna say is that the only good byproduct of the 12-team college football playoff is two things. One, we got these super conferences now where nobody can duck the smoke no more. You got to play
Mm-hmm.
people.
Yep.
And the same thing when it comes to the playoff. Because
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State ran through everybody that was supposed to be something,
True.
you know, on the way to the championship. So they are truly the best team in America.
My point.
I just, I would prefer to see that on November 30th.
You want that win specifically. That'll solidify Ryan Day though. That
He
win will
has to have that.
solidify.
He has to have that to solidify who he is, though. He
you
does. The
you
Natty
can't
good.
do the John Cooper 2-10-1
No, he
thing.
can't. He cannot. He cannot do that. He cannot
Nah,
do that.
I don't want to undercut the national championship at all. And in the grand scheme of things, like you said, that is what ultimately matters.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a born bred Ohioan like you are. I can't discount what that last Saturday in November means. So I don't want to say it because it makes me sound unrealistic and crazy. But y'all know what I'm alluding to. So Brother Darren says he would rather have the Natty, and I just keep being quiet because I don't want to.
Hey, I mean,
I
I
that's
mean,
how it
I'm
is.
with Coach D. So I'm yeah. That Natty was a little better. I ain't gonna hold you. And
Especially
after all
the
the
teams
talk,
they went through to
they
get
was
it.
talking down on us so bad.
Yep.
That's why it made it so much better. It's like, oh yeah, your team ain't going nowhere.
You
They ain't gonna do
you
nothing.
they went through teams that they weren't that they didn't give them a chance to go through.
Yep.
They
what I
went through.
like is that the Big Ten was 5-1 against the SEC in general this postseason. Further proving what I've been saying for years that the entire conference is just as top heavy as any other conference, and that it was slightly overrated to begin with. Other than that 6 year run from 2006 to
Okay, okay,
2012
okay,
that
okay,
you got to
okay,
give them.
okay.
Yeah, but the rest of college football adjusted after that, in my opinion. You
You
still had
had
the
to.
old man, controlling stuff down there in Tuscaloosa. But it's like, man, the way people was making it sound like Vanderbilt or Mississippi State, Kentucky, like, stop, man. You talking about, like I said, Alabama, Georgia, and sometimes LSU. That's
Mhm.
what it was.
The top three.
And I can't give them Auburn because Cam Newton would have did that anywhere.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Florida's entire history is made up of the old ball coach and Urban Meyer. Ain't done nothing before or since.
That's true. That's true.
It is what it is, right? If we're gonna stay in the now and be what have you done for me lately, well, the Big Ten has won the last two national championships.
Yeah.
And everybody's in arms about that. They up in arms about that. That does not sit well with a lot of people, especially
I'm
them people
sure,
down south.
especially outside the Midwest, the people are not loving that.
Nope.
At all.
Nope.
So Joe Burrow made a few headlines today as we get ready to close out. Um, when he was asked about the Bengals cap situation and re-signing, in particular, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Trey Hendrickson. We know the Uno deal is coming. I know a lot of people that aren't really well versed on it, have doubted even that. I'm like, no, they're going to sign Uno. It didn't happen as quickly as we would like it or he would like it, in particular. The question is, have the Bengals really grown? And this is what we're going to learn a lot about the Bengals. this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Can we do away with that narrative like Carson Palmer said? Yeah, you'll resign me or Chad or Big Willie or the superstar, but will you resign that extra guy? Will you resign a Marvin Jones, a TJ Husmanzada, to get you over that hump? This is really critical right now on what happens with T. Higgins. That's all I got to say about that.
And they said he had boxes at his house backed up, boxed up. So I'm a little worried.
Man, they all do. This is the off season.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't
Still a
worried
little
about
worried.
him having boxes packed up. I'm
I,
worried
I
about
am. I am. It looked like he was moving that day. Like I don't know where he was going.
We
Coach.
gonna find
What's
out.
your gut feeling? Is T. Higgins gonna be back?
My gut feeling is that Mike Brown is not going to pay T. Higgins. They are going to try to put Yoshavash into be WR2, and they
Shit's
are
terrible.
going to save money, and they are going to try to say that they had to pay Jamar Chase
Uno.
so much money that they couldn't keep all three of them. That's what I
and,
think. That's my gut feeling.
and what did I say, Nate? This whole time I said, bro, they're
Should have
gonna try
took
to
care of
sell
that at
you.
the beginning of the
They're gonna
year.
try to sell you that Yoshi Boss is a number two, and he's not.
Yep.
He only gets off. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but he only produces when you have a Jamar Chase and T. Higgins out
He's
there on the
got two
field
other
in
people
front
in
of him.
front of him. He can do that.
Yeah,
But those people, they have to. Those people garner attention, so
yeah,
he's going to be open. They are basically leaving him open because they want to cover up these two, and they
yeah.
want to make sure. So they'll give him his. Go ahead, you can get him. You're not gonna beat us. These two will beat us. You're not gonna beat us.
They can't let T go.
Man, they can't.
Hey,
I ain't even gonna lie. I get depressed thinking about it.
hey, hey, you gotta go back on history too. I look at the Bengals like I look at my Browns, and they have a history of being inept and have a history of not wanting to pay their stars when you know that they have them there. We
Yes,
going
but
through
this is a
turmoil.
new
We
day
going we
with
going up
Katie
through turmoil.
Blackburn running day to day operations instead of Mr. Brown.
They ain't gonna pay him.
Now, ultimately, if it's a huge decision, does it still come across his desk? Of course it does, and he has final say. But even he admits that Katie basically runs day to day operations. She's the one that attends the owners' meetings. Now she hired Zach Taylor. You can make of that what you want. I won't get into that.
Oh,
Leave that
Uh,
alone. Leave it
leave
alone.
that one alone.
um, now that would be a good question to ask since we got a head coach out here. What his opinions are of Mr. Taylor.
I
Mm.
would, like I told you, that guy would be signed. I would. T. Higgins is come on, man.
Yeah, something tells me that they're gonna get it done. I know Joe is out here lobbying as much as
Well, if
possible.
they do, they're gonna pay him a lot of money. They're gonna use the second franchise tag on him. They can do that, but he's gonna get paid a whole lot of money for that second
I
franchise.
think they respect T enough that they won't do that. Like ultimately, if they can't get a deal done, he's just gonna end up elsewhere. I do not think they're gonna place a franchise on him 2 years in a row.
Why not?
I wouldn't put it past him.
How many times have the Bengals in particular done that? And especially not for a wide receiver. I mean, the last franchise I remember back to back, and I could be wrong, but I'm just saying notable that I remember was Kirk Cousins.
Yes, sir. How much money did he make?
A lot.
A
More,
whole lot of
more than
money.
he should have, because to be
A whole
honest,
lot.
I when he signed with Atlanta this past off season, and Nate knows this. The first thing I posted, I said, "There goes Kirk Cousins robbing the bank again."
Hey, Kirk
Kirko
Cousin is
Chains,
Kirk. Hey, you can call him
Kirko Chains.
Kirk Chains. Because he in the money, for real.
But if somebody's willing to pay, I'm not mad at him doing what he got to do. Everybody should have Kirk O'Chain's agent, but at the end of the day, I just don't see them franchising T 2 years in a row. He didn't want to be
Okay.
franchised this year,
I bet
and
he
he
did. How much
and
money
he
did he make off this franchise the first year?
was like 22 million or something like that.
Okay, so how much is he gonna make off a second franchise?
It go down, don't it?
No, it goes up.
Go up.
Oh,
So it would be probably like around 24, 25 million this year, probably.
In 2 years, that man has made $50 million.
yeah, that's true. I didn't
52.
even think about that. Damn.
Yeah, but you know what it is, man. They want the long term security in case they get hurt or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
That you can't get with the franchise tag.
But if
You get your
the
money.
the franchise has is guaranteed money though.
Yeah, the money is guaranteed. But again, that's 1 year.
What is this? Year 5 or 6 for him? No, it ain't even that.
It
This
is
is
5 or 6
It
this
is 5
year
or 6, ain't it?
five. Year
coming
five
up. But
coming up. Yeah.
because you could be like my man, Earl Thomas, play on that franchise tag, break your leg, and never be the same after that.
Earl Thomas is a reckless individual still to this day, man.
He may be. And there's not too many people. Everybody talks about that. There's not too many people to get hurt playing on the franchise tag, but you
Right.
still want that long term stability because you could be a Earl Thomas, you could be a Drew Brees, that almost ended his career.
They said Drew
At,
Brees' career was over. That's what they said initially.
yeah,
After
that's
he
what the
left San
doctor
Diego.
said.
Yeah.
He just fought through it.
Yeah.
What I want to know is, see, Jamar Chase. I know they didn't want to do it with 2 years left on the deal, and I know why, because of how the Bengals do contracts, and they just want to add on to that last year like they did with AJ Green and a few other people and encompass that into the extension.
Can't do that
But
with Triple Crown win.
you really messed up, yeah, with the Triple Crown because
Hey,
the
man.
30 million per year that he agreed to last year. What did Fat Joe say? Yesterday's price is not today's. Now you messed up.
You cannot dispute he's a triple crown winner. Hey, you can't even fight that.
Yeah.
But look what they
Ain't no
just did.
argument.
They just did the Cooper Cup. The
They
past
can race
Cooper
ship
Crown
him
winner.
out. He can get
They
shit.
traded him already.
Oh, where'd he
Yeah.
go?
They haven't traded. They just they said they're going to trade him.
Yeah.
So
I'm about to say they can race ship him out. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, Cooper's best days is behind him though, at
Cooper
this
Cup
point.
young. What are you talking about?
Cooper Cup is definitely 30, man.
Okay,
I'm just saying he ain't the same Cooper Cup running around there like Wes
no,
Welker and
he just has a younger version over there with the Rams
Yeah.
than
It's a
him.
younger version of him in front of him.
That's it. Cooper the
yeah, and they
cool.
trying to do like most organizations. They trying to go with the cheaper option, the
Yeah,
younger option.
yeah, yeah,
Of course, yeah.
yeah.
Did they? Because I didn't check. Joe Burrow, I guess, just won comeback player of the year. Did they release the Hall of Fame selections this year yet?
Not yet.
I haven't seen nothing.
Not the final. Not the finalists. Mm-mm.
I need Big Willie to get
For sure.
selected this year.
That's
They're
only.
making that face because he liked Joe Thomas better, probably.
You already know, big fella.
Well, Joe was good.
Good, just good. He was the anchor for a very long time. Iron Man.
I can make an argument that Willie Anderson is at the very least the best right tackle of his era, possibly ever, like Warren Sapp said he was.
Mm-hmm. Joe Thomas just was an anchor with teams that weren't very good.
Exactly. I remember when he got drafted by y'all out of Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't even at the draft. He went fishing with his dad on his boat. I made a joke. I said, "Yeah, I would be too if I knew the Browns was going to draft me."
Mm, that's cold. That's
I
cold.
can't I can't fight with him because we haven't done anything, man. We haven't done a thing. We're getting ready to lose the best pass rusher we've had in our history.
And it might
Yeah,
be that.
Miles Garrett is an animal,
Yeah. A wrecking machine. Yeah.
and he don't want to be there because
Nope.
it's going into a rebuilding situation now.
Yep.
And I wonder if old Denzel Ward might say the same thing. Say, I don't want to be there for a rebuilding situation.
Denzel just signed a new contract 2 years ago.
He can't go nowhere yet.
He can ask to be traded.
Yeah, he could. But would you? Would you cut your throat for that money to go somewhere and get lowball?
If I was going to be
Like you
moved
just said, he almost 30.
to the suburbs with this new stadium that they trying to build and taking
Mm.
off Lake Erie, yeah, I want to get out of there because now y'all get doing away. But the only advantage y'all do have is that wind off that
Mm.
lake.
Mm.
No, when I think about Cleveland Brown football, though, I think about them playing down there, on Lake Erie, whether it's the old Cleveland,
Municipal
Municipal
Stadium.
Stadium,
Old Municipal Stadium, yeah. Yeah.
or even that. I'm just like, why would you move away from that? I don't know.
It's a lot of money there, man. And a lot of people in their ear. And where they're trying to move and put that stadium at, they're giving them everything.
Mm,
They're putting it out at Brook Park. And you'll be closer to the airport. Brook
uh,
Park is closer to the airport.
yeah, I ain't think of that. Yeah, because I had to drive back, unfortunately, from Cleveland, from Houston,
Mm-hmm.
and we went. It was right there by the airport, and it was like a rental car place that was
Mm-hmm.
right there by the airport. But it was like literally right there.
But y'all know me, and you may not know this, but then I went on some epic rants on this show about teams that say they from a certain city and don't actually play or base their operations there. That bothers the hell out of me. Like I
There's a
just
lot of them
for
like
what
that.
for whatever reason, like the fact that
Ravens,
the 49ers
Commanders,
are 45 minutes away
San
from San
from
Francisco.
San
Francisco.
Francisco.
Hmm.
The Dallas Cowboys haven't played in Dallas since the 1960s. Uh, the only one that I understand is New York because
Of the
there's
traffic.
no where you gonna build a stadium at, and then parking and everything else with traffic the way it is. I mean, I would love for it to be like the old days when the Jets played at Shea and the Giants played at Yankee Stadium, but they can't squeeze no football stadium into downtown
No.
Mhm.
Manhattan. So I get them playing, but everybody else don't say you like when the Bears was thinking about moving to whatever burbs thing that was before they finally got the deal to stay, in downtown Chicago. Like I really hate that. Like don't say you from someplace and don't play there.
Right.
Right.
So I
I
know
get
I
that.
got bias when it comes to that.
I get that. We right in the middle of downtown in Cleveland. Right in the middle.
Yeah. Well, as they should be. If you the
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland Brown. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I know the practice facility is in what, Berea?
Berea.
Yeah.
That's a suburb. Yeah, it's out in the suburb, but that's what it
But it,
is, man.
but at least they still play in downtown Cleveland.
I think they would think about moving Berea's uh uh practice facility downtown. I think they can do it. Just kind of like the way the Bengals are. The Bengals
Yeah.
got the sweetest setup, I think, than a lot of people. To be honest with you, I think
Yeah.
them and the Arizona Cardinals have the best actually set up practice facility and stadium.
Yeah. Right there in the same vicinity. And even people that want to live in Kentucky is just right across the bridge,
Mm-hmm.
players so they don't have a long, commute,
Uh huh.
you know. But
Yeah.
well, we didn't hear from Big John. I hope his power comes back on.
Oh,
Uh
that's right. They are
yeah,
out of power.
he was one of them affected by that. But first of all, I want to remind everybody If you can't check out the live feed or stream on YouTube and Facebook, of course, the audio files will be uploaded to Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. So you can check us out everywhere on those fine audio platforms. I want to thank Brother Darren for joining the show. Please don't be a stranger, brother. You always got a welcome invite if you want to come back on the show.
For sure,
I
for sure.
appreciate that.
Nate, appreciate you getting here, brother. I know you're busy. Father of the year.
Yeah, I
Get-
took over my baby. My baby girl supposed to be in the bed. She fell asleep on the couch, so I got to move her.
yeah, man. Um, Everybody, as usual, we appreciate you tuning in. Like I said, I'll have the teaser clips and the audio uploaded very soon. So we actually did 2 hours today, so you got a little extra than we normally do. So again, Brother Darren, thank you for coming on.
No
We
problem.
appreciate
Appreciate you.
everybody logging on. We'll try and do it better the next.
All righty. Thank you, man. Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, brother.